Nerdbots.
Welcome, everybody, to a preview of an upcoming episode of Five Things, where we talk about the 5 Christmas horror movies that you should check out with our special guest, Stephen LaMorte, the director of The Mean One. He is joining us on this extras episode for an interview to talk about that.
I am inevitable.
Welcome, Stephen. I know you're busy. Thank you for taking the time out to join us to talk about the film and to join us on 5 Things that comes out next week. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here and excited to talk about my favorite Christmas horror movies.
Yeah, so how busy have you been recently?
Not busy at all. Just quietly sitting at home, looking through the window, thinking about how my life went wrong. No, it's been crazy. It's been chaos. The Mean One has been just insane. You know, a tiny little indie film. We shot this thing in May over the course of 14 days. And 6 months later to be, 6 months later to have the little movie that could be in theaters. It's like a dream come true. And we're, connecting with people online. We're going to screenings. We're, sitting in a room with people, making them laugh at Christmas time at our, goofy little horror film. And I'm loving it. It's been great.
Now, I'll say this. I know in our circles, Jen and I, we've seen a lot of buzz about The Mean One in the groups that we belong to, some of the pages that we belong to, in even some of our comments. But in case somebody's not familiar with The Mean One, can you just give us a quick breakdown of what the movie's about?
Sure. The Mean One is a horror parody version of the classic Christmas story that shall not be named, in which a young girl has her parents murdered by what she thinks is a bloodthirsty monster. 20 years later, she returns back to the town and finds out that the creature is back, and she decides she's going to take her destiny into her own hands, go Sarah Connor, and get revenge.
Excellent. Now, I have to say congratulations, because it expanded to its second weekend, which is playing right now. And that's great news, because independent horror deserves that type of love. So what I would like to know is, when can all of us get to enjoy it? When will it be streaming before Christmas, or we wait until after the theater run?
It's thank you. First of all, we're so happy. The movie was only supposed to be in theaters for a week, which I don't know everyone knew that. So for us to get a second week is just amazing. To be playing in the same theater as Avatar is like, oh my God, check that off the list. But because of this, fantastic, unbelievable success, we are unfortunately have to push our streaming release because we have certain arrangements with the theaters that, if we're going to be in theaters, we can't do streaming right away. So the streaming more than likely is going to have to come later, like next year. But we have lots of big plans for what we're going to do with the film, and we're going to make sure that when everybody gets to see it, it'll be widely available. And for now, we're just hoping that everybody wants to can come out and laugh with their friends and enjoy the movie in theaters.
Are you able to tease us with what possible platforms it may go to?
No, not at this time, not yet. We're still discussing it, is what I can say. It really all depends on what people want. If people show up and fans really have a big outpouring of support for it, then sometimes the different streamers take notice, and it could be good for everybody. So if there's somewhere you want it, let us know and let them know. They're all on social media. So
all right, I can deal with an after Christmas present. So I will definitely make time to watch this after Christmas, because I am looking forward to it.
I appreciate that. Thank you. It's been such a blast to hang out with horror fans, and we made this movie for people to kind of not take it too seriously and watch it and laugh and have a good time. And so we're excited for as many people to see it and laugh along with us.
Before we jump into our next question, it's funny you say that. So you're hanging out with horror fans. So can we expect to see you maybe at conventions next year?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I definitely used to do all of the comic book conventions, and I have a Star Wars fan film that I've been kind of taking around the with Geek Fest, and we did Gen Con and Dragon Con and the LA Comic Con. I think we're going to do San Diego Comic Con, but we just did Midsummer Scream, and I think, Midsummer Scream put on season screamings, and that was just a freaking blast. And now that I have an excuse to sit next to David and go to conventions, you bet your butt we're going to be there. Yeah, I'm excited. I love it. It's great. Conventions
All
are the
right.
best.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that too now.
Yeah, we'll be out. We'll be around. We're going to be screening the film in Georgia next week. I believe the early next week, Monday or Tuesday. So I think that's the 18th or the 19th. I'd have to see at a Regal Theater, and then we're going to be screening the film again the following week in New York City. So the week after Christmas. So at some point between the 26th and the 30th. So if anybody wants to come in and meet us and meet the producers or the cast, just keep an eye out, because we're definitely doing those events.
Oh, Jen, we may have to take a trip down to New York for that.
The New York, I'm not sure about Atlanta, but I'm pretty sure David will be at the New York one. So stay tuned for that.
All right. So I would imagine, just so everybody knows, you'll be screening it with them, audience members, and will there be a Q&A afterwards?
100%. Yeah, there'll be a Q&A. We'll have posters. It'll be a good time. So it hasn't been formally announced yet. So that's why I can't tell you a specific date, but it's definitely going to happen that week. So just keep an eye out.
All right. Yeah. New York City's only a couple of hours for us, and we do love the city. So maybe have to check that out.
That'd be great. I mean, watching the movie with, I like the convenience of watching movies streaming, but our movie is ridiculous. It's goofy, it's cartoony, it's campy. And so it's just meant to be seen with an audience, preferably with a bar outside. So I think it's a good time. Yeah, definite bonus.
Yeah, I agree. Some movies like yours and other films that are even Terrifier 2, I'll toss in there a little bit. It's meant to have that atmosphere of everybody being in the theater, laughing together, calling out certain parts. That's what makes it even more enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely. And that's, I think, why horror is really just making not a comeback, but making such a big wave in the theatrical community, because it's an experience. People want to get out and they want to, sit with other fans, and, whether it's something like creepy or something that's funny, like there's all different kinds of horror, and it's a thing to sit with somebody and watch them. So I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've gotten to do that twice now. We actually watched Clerks 3 with Brian O'Halloran. He came to our local theater, and so he was in the audience watching it with us. And then for Terrifier 2, we just went to a special screening that Kevin Smith put on at his cinema. And so the cast and crew were there along with Kevin Smith, and we got to watch it. And then there was the Q&A. So I like that, being able to kind of like see it. And I think it's great too, because then when the audience loves your film, you get to see that firsthand.
Yeah.
So
definitely. Yeah. I mean, look, this is not a film that, we expected. We want everybody to see it and check it out, of course, but we made it for fans of, goofy, campy horror. And so when you're in the room with people that get it and they're, laughing along with you, it's just the best feeling, because that's why we do it, right? Is to, entertain and make people laugh.
Yeah. So how did the concept for The Mean One transition from a fun idea to becoming a film?
Well, I mean, pretty much it started with I've had this idea for several years, and it started with this concept trailer. Like, I decided I was going to make like a fake trailer for the thing, because I didn't have a script. I just had 6 or 7 jokes. And I said, hey, let's put them together, and let's just make this concept real. And I made this fake trailer, and we did the makeup, and we spray painted the shotgun, and kind of all that stuff. And then once we had this concept trailer together, I showed a few friends, and they were like, oh, this is super fun. I thought you were making a movie. And I was like, no, that's the movie. Like, it's just a fake trailer. We didn't, there's no movie. And they're like, oh, well, you should make the movie. And I said, there's no movie. And then my fiance, who's also my producing partner, who also says, who's also plays Mayor McBean in The Mean One, she's like, but what if there was a movie? And then 5-6 months later, we have a script from 2 of my favorite writers that I love working with. We go into production in May, and the movie is, done in September or October and out to the world in December.
Yeah, that really snuck up on us. Like when that dropped, it's like, oh my God, why didn't I hear anything about this?
Yeah, yeah,
We're
yeah.
just working on, we're like elves. We're just working on it in secret. We're too busy making the movie to promote it. But it's look, it's all good. The internet's a great thing, that we can kind of connect directly with people that want to know about the movie. And we're a tiny little independent production, right? I mean, all of the marketing is being done by just two people. Our budget was minuscule. Like we shot really, really fast, so we're kind of just figuring it out as we go, and it's exciting to have horror fans kind of come along with us on this journey, because it really is unlike anything I could have ever expected for the project.
Yeah, especially with horror, a lot of big films start out as independent. So
Hmm.
And filmmakers too. I mean, it's making movies is less expensive than it's ever been. You can shoot, if you have a good concept and a good story, you can make a movie with your cell phone and get it in front of people. You can upload it, like you can, find your audience. And I think horror is a great proving ground for directors, whether they want to stay in horror or go and do something else. Um, yeah, it's great. Now's a good time to be indie, rock and roll.
now, one of our subscribers submitted a question. He wanted to know what inspired the look for this version of the Mean One. And he says, sorry for the dumb question. He just loves the way it really looks.
Oh, excellent. Well, thank you. I'll have to pass it on to Tatiana, who helped us build the creature. We wanted to start with a design that felt familiar, but was kind of exaggerated. We experimented with some designs that really drifted away from kind of a traditional aesthetic. Um, but once we started getting into the logic of the creature, he's gone feral. He's got a taste for blood. He lives in a cave. What would it be like if, I mean, Gollum is a hobbit first, right? He didn't start
Mhm.
out skinny and pale and all that stuff. So we kind of just worked backwards from there. Where did he get the Santa suit? If he made it himself and he's only got claws, it would have stitching marks on it. It would also be dirty, right? If he sleeps
Mhm.
in the mud in a cave, what would it look like? So a lot of the choices that we made were to kind of bring in not the realism, but just to justify how he looks. And then, of course, make him look silly because it's supposed to be a joke, right? We don't want him to be too scary, and we don't want him to be too realistic, because we did some experiments where the legs were really small, or to
Mhm.
make his silhouette a little different. But at the end of the day, it was like, no, if we want something to be a fun date night movie, we maybe don't make him too scary.
I like those touches. Bringing the dirt into it. That's attention to detail. I like that.
Well, I mean, when we were designing the creature, like the writer and I made the jacket, and his wife sewed the patches onto it. I made the shoes. I distressed them myself. I bought them and kind of painted them the right way and got them perfect and red and white, and put the little ball on the end, and then immediately went to stressing and dragged them through the dirt and stuff. And it's just it's just a fun part of the process. And for me, I think you can. I want to get really hands on with everything I do. I mess with the sound
Mhm.
design. I chose the props and let someone else paint them. Or like I want to get my hands dirty on the shoes and the hat and the makeup, and that's just fun for me. And it helps with the budget because we have limited resources, so it's a win-win.
With the success of Terrifier 2 and the recent release of Christmas Bloody Christmas, it's really easy for moviegoers to go into the next film with an expectation or an assumption of what they're going to get. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we've heard you describe this movie along the lines of Gremlins and Jack Frost. So, what
Mm-hmm.
should fans expect?
I think fans should really come into it looking for just a silly good time at the movies, right? The feel good horror movie of the season is kind of what we're telling people. There's a love story, there's comedy, there's references to everything from Jurassic Park and Psycho to the Leprechaun video from, not Leprechaun the movie, that
Mhm.
Leprechaun YouTube viral video of the guy with the crude sketch. I mean, it's bonkers. The movie's all over the place. It's just a fun time at the fun time at the movies. It's light, it's easy to watch. You can go with your significant other and you'll both have a good time. Um, yeah, it's just a fun silly time that should not be taken too seriously, please.
so you're telling me there's Easter eggs in there?
Yes, that is correct. There's
Oh boy.
all kinds of Easter eggs. We were originally going to do a competition to see if anyone could guess all of the Easter eggs, but then Collider wrote a whole article that was like, here's all the Easter eggs. I'm like, that's all not even fair. They did miss some, which is fine. Um, but they gave everyone a running head start. So we said, all right, well, we'll save it for the DVD or something.
Oh, we're all over that.
Yes. So that is one of our that is like our heavy hitter of videos that we do is Easter eggs.
Mhm.
People eat them up.
It's super fun. And when what we lack in budget, I think we make up for with just love for the source material and desire
Mhm.
to just like make yeah, obviously if you're going to spend money on set dressing, it's for, just for a joke. It takes a little bit of effort, right? We have to design the sign or the VFX or this or that. So some of the references are just, little VFX things that are obvious. And some of them like, there's like a menu that's floating around that has one thing on it, or like there's a stocking that's got something else on there. So depending on how eagle-eyed you are, you can see that there's a lot of little jokes just floating in the set dressing for people to find. Hopefully
Nice.
when they, whether in the theater or rewatching, who knows?
I'm glad you kind of clarified that up too, because a lot of horror fans, they go in, they expect something, and then they're completely disappointed over something that's a really good film out there, and it's
Mhm.
just because they went in with the wrong expectations. Like we talk about in our movie reviews, I really try to avoid trailers as much as possible because I don't want to get a false sense of what I'm going to see.
Mhm.
And then there's a lot of trailers today that are cut, and it gives you the entire movie. So you go in and it's like, oh, okay, all of this is in there. And then
Mhm.
sometimes they'll leave out a really cool scene that's in the trailer, never makes it to the movie. And then Jen's like, what the heck happened to that scene? I expected that scene.
Mhm. Well, and marketing too is different than it's a different kind of storytelling, and so there's definitely people that I've spoken to who are like, oh, we expected the mean one to be like super gory and crazy, like
Hmm.
Terrifier, and I'm like, oh, absolutely not. I mean, I cut away from this, or we only show it like that because we wanted to make it fun and light, and we did the blood like this because it's a joke. It's supposed to be like silly and campy. We don't, if we have the resources to do crazy makeup, we could totally sever a leg and tear it apart and show all the flesh. I just didn't want to do that. I did
Hmm.
not want to do that, so it's I definitely think we don't want people to expect the wrong thing with the creature and in the movie, and then come into it and be like, how come there's no whatever? And I'm like, it's not the point. It's not that kind of film.
So this year has been an amazing resurgence in the horror genre. So for yourself, with Damon Leone, Joe Begos, it's not necessarily an overnight success for you. There's a lot of work I'm sure you had to do as well as they had to do as well. So how did you get into directing, and what advice would you give somebody that wants to be a part of that next generation of writers and directors in the horror industry?
Well, I mean, I've wanted to make movies since I was 9 or 10 years old. I mean, I used to make little stop motion movies with Legos, and I would my first films were really limited to where we could shoot them because I had I could only go as far as the power cable would take me. I mean, like I've been playing around and making silly little films forever. And really, I just kind of stuck with it. I mean, I was shooting videos and making sketches in high school, and then I went to film school. And even on my winter break, or Christmas break or summer vacation, whatever it was, I was always out shooting things and wrangling my friends and family into being in these things and dressing up and whatever. And I just kind of never stopped. Like I just love it so much. Find something you love and let it kill you. And it's definitely trying. I'm a lot grayer than before this movie started. Um, but I would say, to anyone that's up and coming, I would say just do it. I mean, YouTube University is out there. I wish I could have had the YouTube videos that are floating around back, when I was 16, 17, 14, 10 years old, with
Hmm.
the tutorials on how to do special effects or how to shoot a fight scene or how to make your music, better. Because it's all out there. A lot of it's free. And we have like amazing cameras in your pocket. You can shoot on an old cell phone. And if the concept's good and the acting is really good and the story is there, the sky's the limit. And your first movie is not going to be as good as your second movie. So you might as well start getting the reps in, because eventually, if you get lucky, you just might make a good one. So start chipping away at it.
Nice.
So what's next?
What is next for us is I'm developing another horror parody. I can't talk about what it is just yet. It's based on something you've definitely heard of. Um, and it's got monsters, it's got action, and I'm going to be collaborating with some of my friends who worked on the Terrifier film. Some of the I know some of the producers. I went to high school with them. They shout out to Fuzz on the Lens, and yeah, we're going to be collaborating. You know, they have the East Coast, I've got the West Coast, and we're going to be collaborating on something, and that's all I can say. But it's super fun. I'm really, really excited about it, and I just want more excuses to make horror movies and go to conventions. Like, I love it. It's the best. Scaring people, making them laugh is like my favorite thing in the world, and being able to put them together and make a communal experience we can all do together is, man, that's my jam. I love it.
Nice, nice. Is there going to be a possible sequel to the Mean One?
I can't comment on that because they keep telling me telling me not to. Let's see if anybody's listening, but they keep telling me not to. So I have no plans for a sequel at the moment, but if I did, it would be several pages long. There would be a lot of sketches, and it would be awesome. But I don't, so don't ask about it. It doesn't exist. That's all I'll say about it. But it would be But if it did exist, the story would be bigger and meaner and super fun. But it doesn't.
Nice, nice. All right, so I'm a collector of things. I don't know if you can tell by the two cases behind me. I see that you're doing a lot of great giveaways lately with posters, and there's the drawing of the Mean One. So can somebody go out and buy these items on a website, or can they go somewhere to sign up for these contests, going to Twitter or Facebook?
Yeah, we're not doing anything for sale at the moment. We're just excited. People are excited with us. So we are doing some giveaways of posters and stickers and autograph things that have, you know, the signature from the crew and the cast. So if you're interested in any of those right now, that's the only like kind of merchandise that's floating around. You just go to either our Instagram at the Mean One Movie or our Facebook, the Mean One Movie. And we're doing giveaways really easy. You don't have to buy anything. You just have to like, our poster and share it. And you'll automatically be entered to win. And we're going to do our first drawing is going to be on this Monday, the 19th, I think, whatever that Monday is. And if we get extended in theaters, I'm sure we're going to do another one. So follow us on social media and keep an eye out.
Great. So everybody, you're watching this now, you still have time to enter. So go over to Facebook or Instagram, share, like. It's pretty awesome. It's a replica of the poster. It's a drawing that's in the movie. I think I've seen it in the trailer. And then there's a button, right? Or a sticker that looks like a vote button.
That's right. There's a sticker that looks like a vote button. If you've seen the film, you will get why that sticker is there. So yeah, so like and share in that, and you can maybe have one for yourself.
All right. Thank you. So that's all the questions we have. Again, thank you for joining us. Mean One is out in theaters. And I know it's in Regal. Is it outside of Regal too? Is it an AMC, a Cinemark where people can look for it?
Your best bet would be, I don't have the full list in front of me. Your best bet would be if you want to find the movie and you don't see it playing at a Regal near you, definitely check out Fandango, because there are some places where there is no Regal where the movie is still playing. New Mexico and Detroit and Arizona, there's some other parts of the country where there's, the Regal doesn't have a presence where the movie is playing elsewhere. So my recommendation is typically check out Fandango, and if you do it on your phone, it'll find the nearest screening near you, and you can check out the movie.
Now, you did hear from him in the beginning, right? So we may not see this until next year. So if it's not playing at your theater, what you need to do is you need to get on Twitter. You need to go into their contact pages. You need to contact the theater and say, look, I want to see this. There's enough of us talking about it. So if all of us band together and we start harassing people, we'll get to see this expand a little bit more. So please do that.
I love it. That sounds great. We made this movie to make some people smile, make you guys laugh. Yeah, we hope as many people can see it as possible and have a very mean Christmas.
Look, I'm going into that theater if it comes by us with a chant, and I can't say it because it involves a certain town, but I want to see the blanks die tonight. That's what I've been chanting for the last 2 months, because this story's always been a horror story and it's finally there. So I thank you for giving us that opportunity to see that.
Yeah.
No problem. No problem. Happy to do it, to share my twisted vision with the world.
All right. So everybody, Steven, thank you for joining us. He will be back later next week to talk about the 5 Christmas movies that everybody should check out. So tune in for that. Again, if it's not playing at your local theater, make sure you're emailing people, you're going on Twitter, you're tagging the theater saying, look, you want to see it, so that you get the opportunity to do that. Because I know I've done that. So just keep demanding the film so we all get to enjoy it.
Sounds great. Thank you, everyone.
All right, everyone, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. Enjoy your holidays.
Did you ever find the Christmas killer?
Never got a reliable description of the man.